seems to care. Well, save our children, and actually are up to Scotland, and the people standing here today care. Let me tell you that.
Joining us.
Thanks for having me, Andy.
Aye, no, absolute pleasure. Firstly, an introduction to Robess and a bit of background to yourself, mate.
Most of my life I've been in Kinnan Park, between Kinnan Park and Gillen. I stayed in one point for a small point in time, Bollock. My main things in life is football. I loved football when I was a boy. I used to, and I ran. I kept fit. One of my ambitions when I was younger, John McNair's Whiteville Swimming Bath, I was a boxing amateur as well, and I boxing at Bellahouston Sports Centre with David Anderson and I like fitness, keep myself behind me. I kept myself to myself at all times. But my life was good. We didn't have much in life, and I respect what my father. At one point when I was a wee boy, when we stayed up at the Glasgow Green, my father says to me, and this was really hard, a lot of people nowadays have got things too easy. If they knew what I had to do when I was a wee boy, they took me to a toy shop. They used to buy, I don't know if you maybe not remember this, there used to be cowboys indies called Temple Soldiers. And you put the Mexican hats on. Well, that was my favourite toy, right? And one day there were two toys in the shop one day, and it was just before Christmas. My daddy took me down on the London Road and he says to me, there's two things in the window that I know you like. He says, there is no Santa Claus, but you can have any one of these two things, but you can only get one son. And I picked what I want and I got it, and I was so happy. And it was a wee tunnel with motors, and you hang with the motors and drove through the tunnels up and down the hills. And I would sit with that for hours and play. And see what people get with their sons and daughters now. They get too much. They're very respect, and it's what you want for your Christmas and your birthday. A £700 phone, £300 tracksuit. We never bought that, mate. I used to go down and go to the shop at that time. It was penny sweeties, and see for £20, see that amount of sweeties you could get for £20. It was unbelievable. It was brilliant in the days. I wish I could turn the clock back, could have changed my life. But
and have you got any photos of you playing with that toy?
No.
Oh, okay, maybe just as well.
We were poor. No, we were poor. We were really poor. I used to go, it was that bad. I used to say to my mum, have you got any rags? And I would take it down to the ragman with a horse and cart. And that's how bad it was then. Anybody that was in a generation of the London Road and Ragmaholland's, the rag store, they'll remember that name because it was well known. It was all horse and carts, and we appreciated what we got. We never asked.
And see, when in that time, Rob, taking us back to when you were just a young boy, not even a teenager, was there anything in your early life in terms of your character that you thought that you were going to get to this point where you're taking on the responsibility that you're taking? Any early indication?
At that time, all my way through my life, I never, like everybody else, this has been going on for hundreds of years, Andy, right? And at no time in my younger life did I even give this a thought. And it's now past, I'm in my adult life now, and it's now that I woke up, and it's unbelievable what they've been getting away with it, even when I was a young son. And other people before that, sons and daughters, didn't have a clue. This system has been manipulated so well. It's unbelievable what people don't see, because it's hidden so well for the people.
And would you say, as a kind of young boy at that time, or even in your kind of teenage years, you weren't privy to that? You never had any?
Life just was normal, yes. And what we had, as I said, I told you, my dad let me pick a toy. I had the choice of two. He told me there were no Santa Claus, which is a bit harsh, but I didn't think anything of that because of my upbringing. And when I struggle, I know how to deal with struggle because I've had nothing. And whatever I got these days now is a bonus to me. And if I struggle, if I've survived, most people right now, because of the way they've been brought up all their life to adults, if they get into a position, they're used to working, they're used to getting all their pensions, they're used to getting all their fancy wages and all their big bonuses. If that get taken away from them, I would hate to think how these people would deal with that situation, because it's a hard situation to deal with, you know. And as I say, I know how to survive.
And see, growing up in that community, Rob, do you feel that that's had an impact on you kind of at that time in that place? And how does that relate to the day in terms of community?
The community spirit back then was great. Like, I remember when I stayed in Kinnan Park when I was a young boy, somebody looking for their son or daughter, they bump into me, Robert, have you seen Thomas? I was in there with Mark, right? people at that time could leave their front doors open and neighbours would come in and out their houses, no problem. And they were a close, committed community where us looked out for each other and we stood by each other. What we've got this day and age is entirely different.
Politicians are destroying our country, are destroying our people, and are raping, murdering, abusing and torturing their children. Why is the people of Scotland no outrage? There's grooming gangs and trafficking gangs across your city, across your country. Why is people no outraged about this?
And we stood by each other. What we've got this day and age is entirely different. We've got people losing sons and daughters, no questions are being asked, and the communities are bickering with each other because this system has set up a division between the people, cultures and religion, and that's how it keeps the people occupied, because they put a controversy, they throw a span on the works and everybody bites, and then when they bite, they're too busy tied up in the controversy, they forget what's happening, and that's how they're getting away with everything.
So a lot of kind of divide and conquer.
That's what this is now. It's all about the race and the colour and the culture. This is all devised for people argue. It's not because the people are arguing, it's because their governments are putting a controversy in place to cause this, to occupy their minds, to take their minds away from what's really happening. With all this stuff with the lockdowns and that, they always throw something out there to, like, that's my understanding that Duke died. Now, I've watched this, and no disrespect to the guy, but COVID doesn't exist anymore. Because now everybody's focused on the royal family, and I don't mean any disrespect to that, but this is how they work the system. They throw something out there to divert the people to what they're really doing.
And divide,
It's like on the, I know a lot of people is well versed on the 5G. When the lockdowns took place, they fired 5G up with a rapid response, and we've got poles everywhere now, right? And I don't even know if there's any planning permission for the poles, because normally when they put planning permission in place, they go into the communities and say, we're going to put a building, a house or whatever. Do you consent to this? Or are you happy about this, or do you object to it? I don't see that anymore, because these people think that they can do what they want, and the people need to waken up to what's really going on here. The people are sleeping, and it's terrible the way people have been psycho-conditioned and dumbed down, and they need to undumb down and waking up. There is no fire in the belly. I remember Glasgow years ago. Used to be one of the hardest places in the world. Murders galore, slashing, stabbings. I'm not saying that's a good thing, but
that was how it was.
It's like all these terror attacks before this COVID started. Where is all these terrorists now? The fear of COVID. Well, there's a prime example. We don't hear anything about the flu vaccination. We did a couple of months ago. I think the flu vaccination is back to the suitcase and went on holiday to the sun, because we don't hear about it anymore. And the thing that people have got to realise, this vaccination, COVID, isn't guaranteed to stop COVID, and isn't guaranteed to stop passing on. So why is people putting poisons in their body? I've just stopped my dad. I've just opted out of that. I've just phoned them up. They sent me a letter a couple of weeks ago to tell me I had an appointment for a vaccination, and I told them to keep it. A week and a half later, I get another one, and I've phoned them up and I opted out. So for people that don't want this vaccination, when you get your letter for your appointment, phone them up and tell them that you want your name took off the list, that you don't consent to that, because everything is done with consent, Andy, and that's a fact. They need your consent. They need your consent to have a government, and the consent comes when you register to vote. And what people don't realise is the old capital name on the voting card or the application form, the council tax, that's not your name. That's a fiction. They're attaching a legal person to the man or woman. And this is where the deception is. They're stealing your identity and making you sure into liable for any debts.
Take us back. What was your first reaction when this came?
I knew it wasn't right. This isn't right? Because this is pre-planned. There's a thing called the New World Order and Agenda 21 to 21 to 30. And this is about control, taking their businesses. They want the businesses to fail. They want people to lose their jobs. It's all about control. People have to waken up. People, when you tell the people about this, they just don't pay attention. They think you're a conspiracy theorist. It's not happening. Look at the amount of people. We don't hear how many people through this for last year has committed suicide. And I know there's a lot, because I've heard a lot of stories from people that I know with first-hand knowledge that these people are saying that people have committed suicide. It's not reported. Nothing's reported. The media, the newspapers, the radio are all part of this. They're all part of the scamdemic, right? I've been jumping about for this happen. I've been in numerous contact with numerous people in George Square, all over. People I've talked to, shook hands, cuddled, and been really close to people. And I can put my hand in my heart right now and say, where is it? Where is this thing?
And another thing,
They showed you videos that you're talking about, Wuhan or China, people lying in the street, dropping like flies, right? I think that was propaganda, right? Because I was disputing with a guy the other day with a mask. I told you this earlier. I said to him, I don't know why you're wearing a nappy in your face. And the guy says to me, what do you mean? I said, well, it tells you, I've been listening to the radio all week, it's telling you that the air is blowing away the particles of COVID, right? And they're telling you open your windows. So why are you wearing a mask? And the guy just didn't get it. These masks, I would never wear a mask. I don't agree with the mask because I don't think you need them, because if you've got an infection in your chest or your lungs, you're hibernating that. Right? It doesn't matter what these doctors say about the masks, okay, they wear it in surgery, right? That's part of their job, right? There might be a different quality of mask that they wear for what we're wearing. And think of the money that's been made with these masks. You're buying a pack of 10, you see them on the shelves for $4.99 for 10 masks. How much money's been made in these masks? Know what I mean? And all these detergents are washing your hands. I was sitting at a fish supper with oily hands for an engine. It wouldn't bother me. And that's the other thing with this thing here. Sons and daughters are not being allowed to be sons and daughters. They're not being allowed to do what we used to do play. I used to go out and play and back as black as 2 in the morning. It didn't do me anything. The only thing I hated was going in the tin bath to get a warm wash. I had to wait for the water stone and shit. I'm waiting for the water to fill the bath. But it never done me any harm. I never got infections around. That's part of life. That's part of growing up. With social services and government bodies interfering in families and they're not letting sons and daughters be sons and daughters. They're not letting them play and they're not letting them learn. They're trying to psycho condition them as well. They're trying to turn their sons and daughters against the family, because I've heard a few stories that somebody's maybe told their boy off and their boy's turned around and said, well, I'm going to go and phone the social services. That's all put into their mind in these schools and that. All these schools are behind this as well. No, I'm talking about it's all wrong, you know. Well, I've been doing this for over a decade, man. I don't do it because I'm doing videos and I want to have an ego. As I say, people, if I want an ego, I'll go up to North of Scotland and steal one, right? I'm not about being a star on YouTube. I'm not about being a star on anywhere. I do this for the right reason. Good heart, good intention and good mind, right? And what I'm trying to do is waking up the people. It's important that the people get the message that I'm putting out there. And other people, some of the other people are putting the wrong message out there. They're confusing the issue. I'm doing something, they're doing something that's contradicting what I'm doing, and then people start getting mixed up and they don't know how to deal with the situation. But we have to come together and get the right message out there. There is a message to be put out there to waking up the people of Scotland, England, Ireland and Wales and beyond. It has to be done. I went in the street myself before I went to George Square or anywhere near the city centre with a loud tailor. I've been out in the street myself with 5 people, and I've been Kirkcaldy and all different places, and I've let rip. And I've stopped. I can stop people. I can pull an audience. As you know, I've got a charge coming up this week. It's a trial for reckless conduct, and that charge is, they're saying that I put people at risk of COVID. I'm an organiser. It was a protest. A load of nonsense. The reason I'm going to court for this is because when we went to Argyle Street, we couldn't do it in George Square because there was another what they call protest up there. I left and people followed me at Argyle Street. They're saying I took the people. I can't take nobody. You can take a horse to work, but you can't make it drink it. And what it was, I'm up for court, is because I exposed the corruption. We started with a massive group in Argyle Street with over 150 people, and the full street followed when the truth came out. When I started speaking, I was stopping people. Save Our Children was stopping people. Now I've sided with Save Our Children because their sons and daughters been trafficked at a massive, like, I think it's from 2018 to 2021, 27,000 sons and daughters have went missing, and nobody's asked a question. We've got Westminster. Them in Westminster, these men and women representing a fiction known as Parliament, destroying files for paedophilia, trafficking and murder of sons and daughters. Nicola Sturgeon has obstructed 3 judges in a child abuse inquiry in Scotland. There's one in Dunblane just now, so I don't know what the response is going to be with that, but it's also been admitted there has been satanic abuse in this inquiry. I'm actually taken back with the reactionary people of Scotland, Glasgow, and all over Scotland. They're hiding behind their doors like sheep. They have to get out of this. They've been dumbed down and lied to with the most corrupt elite that you can get. This is all lies. There is something happening that people are dying. There is something happening that people are taking unwell. But I, with my knowledge and my ability to travel and do what I've done and see what I see, there is a bigger picture here. And people need to open their hearts and open their mind and self-think. They're listening too much to the media, the newspapers, and all these doctors on these health programs in the morning, like Breakfast TV. They need to get away from that. They're all part of the system. That's why there is no remedy in this system, because they're all lying. and they cover each other's backs. That's why you can't get remedy. Certain people in the legal system, when they make what you call a complaint, get remedy. They've got to give some people remedy. But 90%, I would say, of complaints get no remedy because the passing should be department to department. And the other thing, the escape liability, because every time you go back to making that complaint or the next process here, you're talking to somebody else. So the first man or woman, no person, has escape liability.
Where are we at now? It's April 2021. How would you assess the situation now?
I don't think we've moved forward because the people are still playing by their rules. They're listening to these people. No man or woman in this lands of Scotland, England, Ireland, or Wales or beyond has the right to tell another man or woman, A, wear a mask, B, get a vaccination, C, get a vaccination passport. Who are they to tell you that? They don't have that right. Only a man or woman representing a legal system, legal society, or a corporation has that right by right, and they don't. They have duties and obligations to a legal system, legal society. They don't have rights over a man or a woman. It's the same as the men and women that represent the corporation, social services, social work department. They have no right. What they're doing is committing plagiarism, theft of sons and daughters. If your daughter is 12 and your boy at 14, if they take your son or daughter without consent, that's theft under common law. Abduction. They're doing this and they're getting away with it because people don't know they have rights. They think that these people in this legal system, legal society, is above the people. We the people are the law, we the people are the authority, and that goes to show when they have an election. When these people put a mandate, Andy, it's a promise to do something. But when they, as you know, when they get back into power, everything changes and they blame somebody else. People have to wake up to the politics side of this. This is a fraud at a massive scale, and people are being deceived.
Aye. Forward.
Robert, that's your tea, pal. Here's your cup there, okay?
Oh, cheers, big man.
That's yours.
Is it? Oh, that there? Aye.
You need to edit that out now, won't you?
Hey, sorry, you go.
But do you want your fry up to get a mention? Is that it?
Well, you could have. Oh, you get it.
Every time you get a video recording, you get a fry up. So guys, when you're video and abusing, you get a free breakfast every day. Well, it's my intention we save our children. We're trying to get numbers up. We've tried, and for some reason people are just I don't know what's happening. I don't know why they're not doing what they're doing. They should be there to support us. This is a serious issue. It's about sons and daughters, trafficking, murder, rape and abuse. We're going to change the status. We're going to actually start doing convoys of cars, and we're going to start hitting the streets and leaflet. We're going to have to take this, we're going to have to totally change it, spin it around 180 degrees and get the message out there. We're going to have to force the message on the people and get them to pay attention because this is deadly serious. Now, people think lockdowns and businesses, people are losing their businesses and jobs right now. The furlough scheme that people don't realise, it's the people that's paying for the furlough scheme, not the government. The government have no money. The advertisements for the COVID, the vaccinations, the masks, that's all the public money. And it's been exploited. And the people think that the government's doing them a favour. The government can't. The government's a fiction. Only men and women represent it, and they don't have the power they're doing. But we want to push a more severe. I'll be this thing on Thursday. Depending on how this goes, we're going to really push the message. I'm changing the tactics. I've got a strategy. I've talked to Save Our Children, and we're going to really push this message. We have to go out there now and take the streets and really educate the people and explain to these people whether they like the truth or not. They have to listen. The 24th is an important day because it's my understanding on the 24th all over the country, England, Ireland, Wales, people are coming out all over, but not in large groups. It's important that the people of Scotland, all the groups in Scotland now come forward, go to George Square and stand united, get the numbers together, put the divisions, the egos apart, and let's get a message out there that Scotland can take back control. Now, as I told you earlier, there's plenty of division. So it's time for us to stop this division. It's time for the people to come together. Whether we like or hate or love or dislove, we need to come together. It's not about us as people. We have got to educate the people and come together and get that message out there to pull all the communities right across Scotland, no matter what religion, culture or colour. We have to bring everybody together, stand united. Now, Anti-Corruption Scotland, People for the People Anti-Corruption Scotland have got over 5,500 members, right? You've got the Scottish Forum, that I think it's got about 7,000 members. Then you've got all the TikTok people, right? Now, you've got all these thousands of people following. I'm happy people follow me, right? I don't want you following me or anybody else. I want your feet on the ground, supporting us where it counts. You've got all these thousands of people, keyboard warriors, sitting on a keyboard getting, I appreciate all the great and kind messages I get for the people. I really appreciate it. I don't want messages. Like sometimes people walk up to me in the square and say it's a pleasure to meet you. I don't want you to have a pleasure to meet me. I'm the same as yourself. I'm just a man with knowledge. That's the only difference between me and any other man or woman. I'm not anything special. I've just got a knowledge that they've not got, and I try to educate people. But the figures is wrong. All these followings, groups, forget the following the groups. Follow us, our people, Anti-Corruption Scotland, Robess, and Save Our Children to George Square, and let's get the feet on the ground.
It's wrong. We need the feet on the ground to get up here. Support Anti-Corruption Scotland and save our...
That's what it counts. No on a computer, watching live streams. Get out here and be part of the live stream. Be the support and stand united with the people that's trying to protect your rights, protect your sons and daughters. Let's put the division out. As I said, behind us, let's get together and let's get this sorted. And this is the important part, people. We have to end the corruption. We have to take back our services and get the rule of law back. And the way to do that is remove the politicians. And then we can remove all the Mickey Mouse rules and regulations they put in place, and even create a proper Bill of Rights for the people of Scotland. And give them their inalienable inherent rights under common law. It can never be taken away. This is the way we get the rule of law back. Article 61, a prime example is, I've been slated about Article 61. Right, Article 61 tells you that you've got to swear an oath to a barn. Why would a man or woman swear an oath to a barn? You're your own power. You have your own ability and you have your own authority. Common law is simple, people. Do not commit trespass, harm, loss or injury, property theft or property damage. And the important part here to remember, the only way a claim of that is under common law is a man or a woman comes forward. But what's happened with this system, this legal system, legal society, they've given this status of person. And if you check, don't take my word for it, if you check every single statutory legislation, including the Finance Act for the council tax, it tells you person liable. Everything's person because you cannot deal with a man or woman. There's a legal system and a lawful system, and people have to realise you're either a man or a woman, but you're not a person, and you're in the lawful system, you're on the land and you stand under common law. Article 61, in my view, isn't relevant in Scotland. I've had a heavy argument during the week with somebody, I'm not going to get into that, but a guy, the day I got arrested with a false arrest in Argyll Street, shouted Article 61 and was arrested on the spot. I don't know whatever happened to that guy. And that was him just shouting Article 6. He stands under Article 61, he get carted. So what does that tell you? Even the police here, they're saying that the police will tell you that doesn't count, but it doesn't count. Scots law is unique. Scots law comes under Scotland. England is different. And this Article 61 was wrote with Barnes. They've modified it. They've took the main parts of Article 61 out and changed it. And then I found out recently that somebody rewrote it to Article 61 2020. Now, that tells you enough. The law's a law, right and wrong. Common sense, common law, no right from wrong. That's it, Andy. Well, this is coming through verified fact and first-hand knowledge. The police I've no respect for because they've abused their power, false arrested, kicked my door in, stole my property, aided and abetting with my sister's son and daughter being taken into care. They actually assisted in them stealing, and that's what they did, steal. There was no evidence, no fact, no abuse, nothing. I've not seen my nephew for 7 years come June. I've not committed a crime. I had him for the Friday to the Sunday, and when they fabricated a court order for Paisley Sheriff Court with a man called Sheriff Ireland, it destroyed my family. Now, my sister had issues, and I helped her. She contacted me. I never talked to my sister for 10 years. She contacted me out of the blue one day and asked for my help. And I says to myself, if that's the case, she must really need my help, because I've not talked to my sister, Andy, right? I turned her life around, people, with my father. We supported my sister. We turned her life around. We done everything that was asked. And the social services one time phoned her and says, if you don't keep your brother out of your life, you're going to lose your son and daughter. That's exactly what happened, mate. Well, way back last year, we had a gathering in the Glasgow Green, and it was people come up from England and certain places, and a good lot of people there, well over 500 people. And when I landed, I landed late, and I was talking to my friend Laura. She was part of the group to help promote the message, and she was telling me that the constables was going to arrest her if she tried to walk from the Green to George Square. So I went over and had a word with the liaison of constables, no officers. This is the thing, people, you need to work out what constable and officers, there's two statuses here, right? And I made a superior claim in the Glasgow Green. I told them that they were a private corporation. that they had no claim to the lands, that I was making a superior claim to the lands of Scotland and on behalf of the people. And I was a common law specialist, and I challenged the authority of the constables. They walked away and said, give me 10 minutes, and came back. They said that their boss wasn't happy, but they were going to facilitate the walk from Glasgow Green to George Square. And that happened when nobody else in Scotland could get a march, people. We got it. Now, the square, a few weeks ago, at Christmas, just before Christmas, I told the people to take a break and leave it, stay away from it. It wasn't the time to do it because it was too quiet. But people were getting arrested and fined and didn't take what I says, and they ended up in trouble. I'm helping people just now with this as well, fading. Now people, a couple of weeks ago, I went back to the square, and it was an Irish constable. He talks to me, he's all right with me, this guy's genuine to a certain point, and another guy. And what actually happened is that we were having he was trying to play games with me, he was trying to use reverse psychology, he was asking, I said, there's no organiser here, I am not an organiser, there is no organiser, only speakers here in a lawful gathering to spread the word and the truth about the corruption and everything that's happening against the people. And then he came out with the reverse psychology people. These people are very clever, they're paid the liars, they're trained liars people to deceive you and deception and draw you into a trap to get to jail, right? The word protest never used, the word organiser never used, and organisation. They're not, none of the three. That's the three main words that they're looking for to get you arrested, right? So take my word on that. First-hand knowledge, verified, private capacity under full liability. So I says to the guy that I was up in George Square today, I says, and let me be crystal clear, I've got the video footage because I've got a body cam that people see me wearing, but I don't put that online because it's a thing, it's a principle and honour, because I'm talking to these people direct. If they step out of line, I will not hesitate to put that and prove the point, right? But I've got that there sitting there as a backup, right? And they don't like being filmed. I don't have a mobile phone stand on my phone. I've got a camera on my shoulder and I've got a camera in the strength on my chest. So I've got two cameras on me. And I says to him, well, today I'm here making a claim that George Square's my land. I will not be moving. And if you want to arrest me, do so, and I'll sue you. And while I'm here, this group of people, I'm also making a superior claim that this is their lands. And your boss has already been put on notice. It's been served in Nicola Sturgeon, Calloway, the High Court, and Ian Livingston. It's never been rebutted, and there's a liability notice. It's never been rebutted, so it stands as a fact and truth, a maxim in law. Unrebutted stands in law. I say, so, anyway, I says, I hope you've got your licence for your COVID regulations. And the Irish constable says to me, what do you mean? I'm going to do a video on this, people, relating to the Road Traffic Act. They've got a licence for that as well, but people don't know that. I've only found this out the last 6 weeks. It's going to be an interesting video when I do it. I said, well, you have to have a licence to pull somebody at the side of the road with the Road Traffic Act, and I can verify this with prima facie evidence. I've got it. It's fact. It can't be rebutted. And as soon as I asked him for the COVID, I said, you better produce your COVID licence for your regulations. He changed the story and walked away. But the reverse psychology was, he says, a way back, people used to come at a certain time and do this and do that. I said, well, I can't answer that. I was only given notice that there was a gathering here today to come up, and I've came up. I can't answer any of your questions. What they were trying to do, people, was try to draw me into a legalese trap. If I would have turned around and said, aye, we're going to wait 12 o'clock what we did before, then I was accepting liability, because he would say, well, only an organiser would know that, and then I would have been charged with organisation of a protest. So there's two languages, people. There's common English and legalese, and they use legalese. So be careful. And the most important thing that you have to remember with this system is the most important trap in legalese is controversy. They're looking for you to argue, shout, bawl, so they can arrest you. Always stand in honour, keep your cool, and just be careful and listen to what they say before you answer. All right, people?
So your knowledge of common law has brought the squid back, and it's given people, so aye.
I'm just waiting for the minute they come and tell me that I'm not going to be standing with the people, and that's when I'm really going to. I've done it in the Glasgow Green, and I've witnessed with numerous people standing with their mouths hanging on. We got that, and they had you want to see the convoy? I don't know if you were aware of that day. The amount of convoy of vans that we got to escort us to George. Aye, that was a big jump. If you're not getting a walk to get a walk. And the guy Lee Garrett, he was totally bamboozled. He's laughing. Never seen anything like that.
So Rob, thanks for joining us, and thanks for the education that you provided the people. I've seen you do it at George Square. I've seen you do it at Glasgow Green, and you've been doing it for 10 years. But it's a privilege to have you here and to facilitate you sharing that message. Anything you would like to say just to close off the interview?
Well, people, I would just like to say this. I'm honoured to be here sitting, getting interviewed with Andrew. I'm honoured to be able to give the message out. And when I give this message out, people, it's a genuine message. There is no hidden agenda. There is no ego. I'm not trying to be a big shot or a big man. It's not about that. It's about doing the right thing for the right reason, and that's what I do. What I'll say to all the groups, it's time now to put our differences apart. We can either like or love each other. It's not about the groups, it's not about the people in the groups, it's about getting the communities all over Scotland, the business people, the people that's lose their jobs, the people that's doing no well, the people that's sitting right now not getting treatment for hospitals because of this scamdemic. These people are sitting, there's people I know sitting waiting for chemotherapy and other things. There is people getting treatment, but they're drip feeding it, and that's wrong. These people, as the treatment some of these people are when people is between life and death. Who are they to judge when somebody has to get treatment? They need treatment now. This is the thing, people. Please take on board what I'm saying. Everything's paid by the people. We're paying these people, these dentists and everything with NHS, this fiction NHS. Everything's paid by the people. And we're not getting our services that deserved and required. Our pensioners, we've got families right now, people, because of this nonsense. People are losing their jobs, their businesses. People are struggling to feed their families. There should be no food banks. It's a thought of hand, people. There should be no homelessness. This is a rich nation, Scotland, the lands of Scotland. Equity's here, and it's being stolen by corrupt elite corporations, and it has to stop. Telegram groups, BitChute, YouTube, Facebook, please, people, make this video viral. Let's get the message out there. Let's awaken the communities. Let's come together and put an end to the tyranny, the corruption and the abuse of power. These people are committing malfeasance in public office at the highest level, and I would take it to the extent they're committing treason. And that's a fact, people. They're causing our people harm, loss and injury and property theft. And they're bullies, and we can't allow it anymore. Please, people, one more time, make this video viral. It's important. And I thank all you people for taking time to watch this video, and all you people for taking time to hear me do an interview with Andrew and get that opportunity to put this message out there. Please, people, take care, be safe, but the most important message is wake up, and wake up now. It's now.
The lockdown is unlawful. No man or woman representing the corporation has the right to tell you to close your business. No man or woman has the right to tell you you're all allowed to come with people in your walk. Come and tell me that and I'll tell you where to go. Everything is in the law, you people. You're being detained according to your rights. You have an able and inherent right. And the law is inherent within. There's two jurisdictions. Legal, lawful. Legal is relevant to the artificial person, with the birth certificates being connected to every man, woman, son and daughter.